Welcome to Be Continued. We're your host. I'm Christian.
And I'm Caleb.
And I'm Riley.
And welcome to Be Continued. And to this week's episode, we're going to be talking about the trades that have happened in the past week throughout the NFL. Well, not just trades, as we do have a gambler in the realm of Calvin Ridley. But
let's do that first because it's the least interesting.
Well, you know,
I don't know. I think it is pretty interesting because I think we can go pretty in depth with it.
We can. I mean, here's my question, you guys. Who was the first player that came to mind when you guys heard betting and sports athlete?
Pete Rose.
Same thing. But there was also a second name that came into mind, and you guys are probably going to laugh at me. There's a certain basketball player,
Joe Jackson,
who got suspended, played baseball, suspended, for a year and a half for gambling. His name is Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Anybody heard of him?
Yeah.
No.
Anyway, you know what?
Best basketball player of all time.
Sure.
By a wide margin.
Mm-hmm. Well,
the only person who's close is Kobe.
No, I would say Kareem.
Wilt Chamberlain still exists, guys.
He was fake.
You can't verify his existence.
You know what though? The Calvin Ridley is not even that crazy. I mean, my only thing for him is why risk your whole career just to bet $1,500?
I think that he should have been suspended for 17 games because you have so many people, such as Ray Rice and all these people who beat their wives and get arrested for domestic abuse, and they're only suspended for 2 games or 4 games.
But the reason he got suspended for the amount of time is because, yes, domestic violence is bad. I'll agree with you there. But
News bulletin, domestic violence.
Bad. Mind blower, right?
Thank you.
But the crazy thing with this is betting can ruin the sport. I mean, it can ruin the integrity of the sport. It can ruin everything about the sport. I mean, look at Pete Rose. Why did baseball blackcast him? Well, not blackcast. What am I looking for?
Blackball him?
Blackball him. There it is.
I mean, really, they didn't blackball him. They banned him for life.
Yeah.
He's not allowed to do anything. I think it's kind of ridiculous because the NFL has done everything they can to get into bed with the gambling sites. They're taking money from the gambling sites, and the players are getting money from it too. And, I don't think you have a moral high ground to tell somebody not to gamble. You've moved the team into Las Vegas, the gambling capital of the world, and you're doing all this with all this gambling. Now, look, he shouldn't have done it, obviously. I'm not excusing him being an idiot. He was an idiot. But at the same time, how could you not expect something like this to happen? You are advertising it all the time. It's on almost every commercial of any game you watch, any sports channel you watch. You're all about the sports betting. Why are you shocked when an athlete bets? And he bet that his own team would win, if you believe him. But,
I don't know why, but when I heard his story, I was like,
why would he bet on his team to win? He played for the Falcons.
I think he betted on them not to make the playoffs, and I think he just backed out of the season.
Betted.
Personal reasons, as we all saw. Caleb's fantasy season.
I thought maybe he had backed out and then bet on the Falcons to lose.
That would make sense.
But that's not what happened.
Apparently. But Riley, you have anything to add to this, or can we move on?
No, just the only thing I wanted to bring up was the 17 games being, I think, a little excessive.
Yeah, you can't bet $1,500, but in a game you're not even playing in.
Yeah.
Hey, if I want to punch a woman, it's all right, but betting $1,500, that's not okay.
Wow.
That's the NFL's mindset here. I'm telling you.
Glad you clarified this.
You should have clarified that before you said it.
That's not my mindset.
Hey, if I want to punch a woman,
I want to punch a woman if I want.
But anyway, let's move on to what happened this past week. As Tuesday, the past 3 days have been entertaining.
Let's go one by one, one day at a time.
Well, we'll start off with the first one. Russell Wilson to the Broncos.
Well, the first one was Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, no, I'm not counting Aaron Rodgers.
That's kind of an I told you so.
I think
he was never going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I think that's because everybody predicted he was going to follow to the Broncos.
Somebody to my left thought he was going to go to the Colts.
What team's that? Who are the Colts?
He also thought Russell Wilson was going to the Colts.
Yeah, have you abandoned the Colts now? Are you no longer a Colts fan?
Oh, let me clear the air on this.
Did that last 1 year? He had a one-season fandom as a Colts fan.
Yep, and my team, I've already told you this, didn't I? I texted you.
You're a free agent?
I'm a free agent fan for a year.
So you're going to pick whoever wins the Super Bowl?
No.
That's who you're going to root for?
No. I told Riley this today, and I've been telling everybody. I said, I do have – there's limits to this. The team that I choose cannot have played in the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl. And
that's just stupid.
It can't be the Cowboys.
I think that he should either go back to the Eagles or stay with the Colts. I think that's.
Yeah, I would go back to I don't know that I'd go back to the Eagles. But they did try to get Russell Wilson. We'll get into that when we talk Russell Wilson. But, yeah, I told you Aaron Rodgers wasn't going anywhere. That was much ado about nothing. He's a diva, and he's kind of turned into a diva. Like, I've lost a lot of respect for Rodgers. He's the new Peyton Manning. Like, people used to talk about Peyton Manning, the greatest regular season quarterback ever. That's Aaron Rodgers, and then in the playoffs, he's just non-existent. But it's partially because he plays in Lambeau Field. And I think if he really cared about his playoff legacy, he would have gone somewhere warm or somewhere with a dome.
I think he cares about faithfulness and sticking with the team.
He's never going to win another Super Bowl. You heard it here first.
Can I make this point, though? So he's getting this new 4-year, $200 million. So it's reported, but Pat McAfee says it's not happening.
And he said that's not true either.
So there's that. But this is my one question with this. The Packers, everybody's like, oh, they've only won Super Bowls with Favre and Rodgers. Maybe that's because in Green Bay, you cannot be built on a throwing team. In Green Bay weather, which is what, 0 degrees in playoff football, you have to be built a certain way, which is pound the ball down your throat and play defense. And the Packers never want to build that way, and they want to be this pass-happy offensive team. And that works if they played in a dome like the Minnesota Vikings.
That's what their team was kind of built on when they had Randall Cobb, and they had receivers that were able to run down the field and catch the deep bombs thrown by Aaron Rodgers. But now they just don't have receivers like that.
But if I remember correctly, also, though, when they won that Super Bowl, weren't they on the road the entire way?
Yes, they were.
Weren't they like a wild card team?
Yep.
So, yeah.
They didn't play one home game because they had to go to Philly the first round, beat Vic. Then they had to, I forget what the next 2 games were. Then they played in Dallas in the Super Bowl. And
you know Rodgers is a California guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
just impossible to play.
Just ignore the entire NFC North. Just pretend it doesn't exist.
Just don't go to Green Bay if you're going to become a player.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on. I mean, A.J. Dillon's a perfect fit for Green Bay. As he's a big, strong, tough running back. I call him Derrick Henry, up and coming, but that's a hot take at the moment. But now we're going to move on to the next move that happened Tuesday. Wilson gets traded to the Broncos. And I think this is huge for multiple reasons. First, everybody's overreacting. Everyone wants to say, oh my goodness, Russell Wilson's going to be winning Super Bowls after Super Bowls in Denver. And I'm just like, guys, have you not seen the AFC? Nobody's going to be a dynasty in the AFC.
Especially in that division that he's in. It is packed full.
Can I say this? And I will say this in defense of Russell Wilson, though. He is built for this kind of division as he is coming from the NFC West, but the AFC West is a whole different monster.
Also, have you not seen Russell Wilson play in like the last 5 years? He has won nothing without the Legion of Boom defense, and he's going to continue winning nothing without the Legion of Boom defense. Russell Wilson is the most overrated quarterback in the NFL, and it's not particularly close. He's got this like Hall of Fame reputation because he won a Super Bowl and he got back there when he was carried by a defense. When they asked him to throw the ball to seal the Super Bowl, Malcolm Butler happened. Russell Wilson is overrated. He's the 4th best quarterback in that division that he's in, first of all. 4th best. He's the worst quarterback in that division. And I think they're probably still going to finish 4th, 3rd at best.
Wait, you're telling me going into 2023, you're taking Derek Carr over Russell Wilson?
Not only that, I'm taking Derek Carr over Justin Herbert.
Oh, my goodness.
Also, yes.
I think Derek Carr is the 2nd best quarterback in that division. You got Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in the NFL. Well, 2nd best to Matt Stafford.
Not as fair.
And then you've got Derek Carr, and then you've got Justin Herbert, and then you've got Russell Wilson.
Well, I'll say this, though. Have you guys seen the reports that have come out in the last couple hours? The Colts are going heavy into Derek Carr, though.
I don't think
I don't think Derek Carr is
why
not
would you
leaving.
trade him?
That's what I'm saying. The Raiders would be stupid to trade him, but they're
also a team that's kind of on the come up. Why would you trade?
Yeah, they're on the come up. They've put so much into this quarterback. They have had Derek Carr for as long as I can remember.
And you've tried to surround him with young talent.
Not to mention Josh McDaniel's scheme. He needs a pocket passer. Derek Carr is a perfect fit for that offense.
It doesn't make sense to me.
I think that
that's just
the
Colt
Raiders
fans realizing they've got no seat at the table, and they're like, "Oh crap!"
I think the Raiders would be dumb to give up Derek Carr very easily. I mean, obviously, if it's going to a free agent situation and they can't, he's asking for so much money. But I think that if they were to trade him away, it would be the stupidest decision they've ever made because of how much time and effort they've put into this quarterback. And he's going through 3 or 4 coaches now. He's just kind of like outliving the rest of the team.
Yep. Riley, got anything to add on the Russell Wilson?
I think that. I don't know. I think it was a very even trade because Drew Lock took place of Russell Wilson, and Russell Wilson took place of Drew Lock. They're just like the same person.
Yeah, I think that might be a little bit of exaggeration.
A little bit of
But
an
I think
exaggeration.
they really are overreacting. And I've seen some people complaining like that the Seahawks didn't get enough. You got 2 firsts, 2 seconds,
And
a
Noah Fant.
star defensive lineman.
Oh, yes.
He is
And a good tight end.
really good. And you got Fant, who is another guy that's still young and he's going to continue getting better. Now, Seattle has been where tight ends go to die, so, okay, there's got to say that. Now, I've also seen a lot of people kind of excusing Russell Wilson not being very good for the last few years by talking about him not having talent around him.
DK Metcalf,
I'm
Tyler
sorry.
Lockett?
Yeah, he's had
DK Metcalf.
he's had a phenomenal set of receivers the entire time he's
Tyler
been there.
Lockett.
Even before them, he had Doug Baldwin and Golden Tate, and he's had in beast mode running the ball. Beast mode is the only reason they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And should have been the reason they won the second one.
And not to mention, though, with this, everyone's like, oh, Russell Wilson's going to have this big production and new offense. It's not really that new of an offense.
No.
The Seahawks offensive coordinator last year came from the Rams. Kevin Hackett comes from the Packers, who Matt LaFleur comes under the Rams tree. But what I'm not hearing anybody talk about with this trade, and needs to be spoken up more, is why I think the Commanders made a good move in getting Carson Wentz. When you take Russell Wilson out of the NFC, your top
NFC's
two
open.
the NFC is wide open, and you have Rodgers, Stafford. They're up here. Who's after them?
People like Jalen Hurts.
Kirk Cousins is like the picture of he's above average quarterback. He's not average. He's a little bit better, but he's also not significantly better than average. And he just puts up every year, but it just doesn't seem to be enough to win games. If it hadn't been for so many years in a row, I would say he just needs a new team. But he has to take some of that blame. But I do think this: if he ended up on the Colts, they would be in a very good position.
Yes, because he fits them a lot more than Wentz did. Because what's Kirk Cousins really good at? You could argue he's probably the best in the league now that Brady's retired at it. Play action. Kirk Cousins in the play action. I don't know if you guys have known this. In QBR and play action the past 5 years, he's number 1.
Did not know that.
But with here's what's been cracking me up though since the Commanders have traded for Wentz. Everyone's coming out saying, "Oh my goodness, Commanders, what are you doing? You could have gotten Jimmy G and you could have gotten Jameis and you could have gotten all these other options." And people are even clamoring for Mitchell Trubisky. And my argument to this is, why? I mean, yes, Carson Wentz, did he sell horribly at the end of the season? There's no denying it. He played horrible versus the Raiders. He played horrible versus the Jaguars.
Christian's getting back on the bandwagon.
I think, yeah. Also, I think that the Colts defense kind of saved him, to be honest with you.
Saved him. Did you watch him against the Jaguars? They made Trevor Lawrence.
I think their defense melted down at the end.
At the end, yeah, but I'm just saying,
Honestly,
I think
that was a full melt. Everyone on that team melted down. They had what people were trying to say is the best running back in the league.
He melted down.
Completely no-showed. A very good run-blocking offensive line.
And honestly,
no-showed.
I think that's where Wentz is going to struggle. I think he's going to the Commanders, and he's going to lose. He's going to lose the Jonathan Taylor. He's not going to have that running back to look at. Like he had Miles Sanders, he had Jonathan Taylor, and then now
Gibson,
he has
he's no slouch.
And Gibson, and let's not forget though, Wentz had to rely on that run game last year because that Colts wide receiver room, because Ballard refused to build around him, was absolutely dog water. That was horrible. And don't judge the term I just used.
In the regular season, you saw how great Pittman was. And
Pittman, no. Pittman's good. What about the receivers after Pittman?
Hilton.
Hilton only played 6 games.
Yeah. So did, what's his name? Samuel for Washington.
But let me ask you this. Has Wentz ever played with a receiver as good as Terry McLaurin?
Alshon Jeffrey.
No, Alshon was not the same in
Nelson
Philly.
Aguilar.
Nelson, oh my.
Jalen Reagor.
Yeah, have you heard of the Nelson Aguilar in the 2018 when they
Jalen
won
Reagor
the
was taken above Justin Jefferson in the draft. I don't know if you know that or not.
Yeah.
So he must be better.
The 2018 season when they won the Super Bowl, Nelson Aguilar went crazy and had his debut season because the 3 seasons before that didn't count.
Excuse me, sir. Nelson Aguilar. Terry McLaurin is better with no hands than Aguilar is with 2.
That seems
Debatable.
excessive.
But anyway, let's just look at this team, though. And everyone's going to – and here's what I've been hearing a lot, too. The Washington Commanders' offensive line is not as good as the Colts. Newsflash, last year the Colts' offensive line in pass protection ranked 30th out of 32.
Who was 31 and 32?
Washington.
Jaguars in Washington.
Well, I know one thing. That Jalen Hurts of yours had the number 2 pass blocking offensive line in the world.
Yeah, here's what I think. I
And
don't think Washington's going to win the Super Bowl with Kirk Cousins.
You mean
It's
Carson
nothing
Wentz?
Carson Wentz.
Yeah, Carson Wentz, whatever. Same thing, same guy.
They can win the division.
But I think Eagles fans should be careful when they're laughing about it and joking, oh, Carson Wentz got to come here to Philly. Carson Wentz is going to be just fine coming into Philly. Carson Wentz is a better quarterback right now than Jalen Hurts.
It's not even close.
Throwing wise, but I think running wise, Jalen Hurts.
It's quarterbacking.
Yeah, but
Destroys
the
him.
quarterback's job is to throw the ball.
I know, but I think Lamar Jackson kind of revolutionized the quarterback
many
position to
Super Bowls
either
has
throw
Lamar
or run.
won?
It's your choice.
Wait.
How
Can
many
you
Super Bowls has Lamar Jackson won?
I know.
can we
Zero.
Can you say who?
I said I think Lamar Jackson has revolutionized it because Lamar Jackson's first season he played did not throw the ball at all, and he ran.
I'm not gonna let you just.
I'm saying I know Michael Vick. I know everybody. There's been quarterbacks before, but I'm saying Lamar Jackson is the one to actually.
There's no
How
Lamar
many Super
Jackson.
Bowls did Michael Vick win?
0.
Okay. You can't
Hey.
win a Super Bowl without throwing the ball.
But you could stop people.
Dual
from going
threats
to Super
don't
Bowl.
do that good in Super Bowls. Even look Cam Newton. When Cam Newton got to the Super Bowl, he was
That's because my guy Von Miller, former Ram, had him on his back all day.
future Bronco, Von Miller.
Yeah, that's
Also former Bronco.
But I mean, when you look at
going back.
when you look at the Commanders, though, and you look at them from top to bottom on their roster, and then you look at last season, they had a tough schedule, and they were 7-6 going into the final 4 games. COVID destroyed them, injuries destroyed them. They went 7-10, and this was with Taylor Heineke, who has a pea shooter for an arm. The dude can't throw the ball. I can't believe I'm about to say this. There's a quarterback, Jalen Hurts, has a stronger arm than in the NFL. Do you know how sensational that is? I didn't even know that was possible until I watched Taylor Heineke play.
He's got you got 2 free wins when you get to play the Giants.
Oh, yeah, and Wentz?
Let's see. You also got the Eagles. The Eagles are a tough team
See,
still, though. 'Cause
the Eagles when
if they're running the ball,
If they're
if they're playing the right way, if they're like they did in the second half of the season where they just ran the ball and realized hey, Jalen Hurts can't throw the ball 30 times. So if we let him
Jalen
throw
Hurts
it
can
like
run
15,
and Miles Sanders can run. So
yeah, well, when Miles Sanders is on the field,
Yeah, when he's healthy. And here's the other thing, though. If you look at the NFC East and you look at it from the top team, the Cowboys, arguably, even though they're falling apart as we speak.
look, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I think that the Cowboys are the ones that are going to win in the division. I think that they're going to win the NFC East because they've done it for the past 2 years now.
Not the past 2 years. They won it last year. They didn't
I
win
don't know. They're losing.
a lot of
They're
players.
losing Amari Cooper and DeMarcus Lawrence.
And let's not forget about what Dak Prescott was before Amari Cooper.
Everybody else is kind of getting old. The line is getting old.
Not to mention there's some drama going on there in Dallas. You guys see what happened with Jerry Jones today?
No.
His supposed daughter has come out and sued him for trying to be hush-husher over the last 25 years.
I don't know what that means.
So he had a daughter, and he tried to pay her out of the media so she wouldn't go speak and tell her and break up his marriage.
Oh,
Oh, so he had like an illegitimate daughter,
Yeah.
you're saying?
Yeah.
Geez, what are we, TMZ?
Yes.
apparently.
Sorry.
Breaking news.
Gosh.
Jerry West's daughter isn't his real daughter.
Well, Jerry Jones.
Sorry.
But
Better jumper,
back to the point though, when you look at this division,
probably.
and you look at you could argue that combined the best roster in that division is the Commanders at the moment because. Look, I mean, they have a good receiving core. They got a good running back room. They got a good offensive line. They got a good tight end. They have a great defensive line.
Overrated defensive
I'm
line.
saying they got an overrated defensive line. I think they have a mediocre run game. I think that they have Gibson, who's good, but after that,
J.D. McKissick.
The thing for me is that defensive line completely no-showed last year.
once
Injuries. kind of derailed them.
what's his name? Young, isn't he the rookie? Wasn't he the rookie last year? Once he went out, it was a no-show.
I mean, Aaron Donald on the Rams, it doesn't matter who else is there. Their defensive line is great as long as Aaron Donald's there. And it's been that way his entire career. So when I talk about a great defensive line, that's my standard.
There is a.
Aaron Donald makes
A
nobody's
one-man defensive line.
look good.
Then
and
why was
gets
that?
nobody's
wait,
paid?
sir. Then why was that pass rush not doing great until Von Miller showed up? Because people were triple teaming Aaron Donald, then the rest of the defensive line couldn't.
Because
Because
they hadn't fully unleashed Greg Gaines.
Oh yeah, Ezra's cousin,
Yeah, well, it would be his in-law cousin.
in-law, cousin, same
Yeah.
thing.
All right.
Stupid.
So that's the Wentz thing. Eagles fans, be careful. be careful making fun of Carson Wentz because I'm telling you, he's better than your quarterback.
And this time, I heard this take today.
Look,
But I don't think he's great.
I don't think Carson Wentz is going to be able to hold up when it comes to Philadelphia. I think that it's going to be a split record for them because I think that I think the first time that they play Carson Wentz is going to go out there and he's going to be told to throw the ball. He's going to throw the ball, and Darius Slay is just going to destroy him.
I don't think that they'll throw the ball that much because Riverboat Ron. Let's not forget about this though. With the Commanders, I think the worst thing. When I look back at the Colts situation, what I think went wrong with Wentz was Wentz went there and he kind of didn't see it as his last chance. And sometimes the worst thing that ever happened when you're falling is to have somebody that was there with your great and then still treat you as if you're great and not really give you full responsibility of what has went wrong. I think Ron Rivera could potentially help Wentz learn to be a leader. Now, here's the crazy thing. There's people coming out saying, oh, if only the Commanders get that 2017 version of Wentz. He's not in there. He doesn't
have the athleticism in him anymore because he's just been beat up so much.
I don't think we know who Carson Wentz is. I think Carson Wentz just got absolutely scapegoated because that team that should have had the division really handed to him. Even they should have won the division, even over the number 1 seeded Titans, because they were playing without their running back, and they were built around their running back. And they have a quarterback that we can probably all acknowledge is probably below average, who had 2 elite receivers that were both hurt.
Yeah.
And the Colts still couldn't win that division when you should have had 4 free wins in the division.
Yeah.
And so I think you're just making Carson Wentz the scapegoat because you don't want to hold Frank Reich accountable. And
Chris Ballard is
that's just the way it is.
All accountability right now because last year when Wentz got there, they had all this cap, and instead of trying to build the team around him, Chris Ballard said, we're not going to be signing any of the free agents except T.Y. Hilton. We're going to stick with this 33-year-old guy who struggled with injuries.
Well, you don't want to sign anybody dumb. Who are they going to sign?
Last year, they could have.
Who's out there that could have signed?
Hold up. Sammy Watkins. They could have gotten Watkins.
Watkins played like 3 games.
Yeah, he's injured.
He was hurt the whole time. He was hurt as much as T.Y. Hilton.
Well, probably a little more. They could have gotten Curtis. I mean,
Curtis Samuel's also hurt the whole year.
They could have drafted somebody as well.
Who are they going to draft?
In the draft?
Jalen Reagor.
Who are they going to draft? Who's available in their draft spots?
Receiver. Hold on. I'm trying to think receivers this past year. Well, defensive line. They could have went after.
Here we go.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You're making all these excuses like it's so easy. You know what they should have done?
They're
they should
paid
have
for
just
this.
traded those first-round picks.
Yeah.
As Les Snead says.
I agree. F them picks.
Yeah.
But now let's get away from the Commanders and let's get to the move that just happened a couple hours ago. The Chargers getting defensive end Khalil Mack. And I understand that there's somebody at this table that says he is washed.
You know my opinion on that?
So I'm going to
I'm sleeping on that. Completely sleeping on that. Khalil Mack is done. Khalil Mack was the second best defensive end on his own team. Robert Quinn is significantly better than Khalil Mack right now. And this move is just a typical Chargers move. The Chargers are like, they're the AFC's version of the Cardinals.
They're a graveyard, man.
They just keep they don't know what to do. They're trying to add talent and they just throw random dudes out there. This isn't like the Rams adding Von Miller, because the Rams added Von Miller, who had the ankle injury, and then they let him sit until he was fully ready to play. You're adding Khalil Mack before the season after he missed most of the season being hurt. Khalil Mack is on the back nine of his career. He's no longer the same guy.
He's getting a little old.
I don't think he's significantly better than Melvin Gordon, who they just let go. He's old, he's done, and he's significantly overpaid.
Were we not just saying the same thing about Von Miller?
No.
Before he went to L.A.
No one was saying that.
They were all saying
no. No one was saying he was done. He was just hurt.
I think that Khalil Mack, I think he's the same thing as J.J. Watt. I think he used to be great.
Yes.
He used to be great, but then he kind of injuries got to him. His age caught up to him.
He's been both hurt and ineffective when he's been out
Ineffective.
there.
He played 7 games and had 6 sacks last year.
Sacks aren't everything.
Yeah, pass rush. You got run
Dante
stops.
Fowler had like 15 for the Rams just because he was standing next to Aaron Donald. He went to the Falcons and got released.
Well, we're going to have to agree to disagree because I think this was a great move by the Chargers.
Nah, this
Who did they get?
this
Who did
is
they
a third
lose?
place move.
They didn't lose anything. They traded a second-round pick and a 6th-round pick, and they didn't need those picks.
I think
like
that
$20 million of cap.
You can't. What second-round pick's going to come and be better than
no.
Khalil Mack?
I think that the Chargers might have just sweeped that, and they kind of just took Khalil Mack easily, because I think a second round and a 6th round, sure, they took up cap space, but what are they going to do with that?
Gave up for Von Miller.
I think what they're going to do. what they're going to do is they're going to have Khalil Mack, and then his contract's going to run out. He has 3 years left on his contract anyway. So it's likely anyway. If he keeps getting hurt like he has been, he's just going to retire after his contract's up.
And he's probably got no more dead money left at this point because he signed it a while ago.
Yep. So I think that the Chargers made a good move. They're going to take up a little bit of cap space for a few years, but I mean they can use that few years to build Justin Herbert and then build around him when Khalil Mack retires.
This doesn't move the needle for me at all.
Hey, I'll say this though.
I don't think he makes them.
I don't think he
significantly better.
I don't think he makes them significantly better either. But I think that he is definitely a pretty decent asset that they added for practically nothing. And I think that that money's a thing where they're taking up cap space and they're a rebuilding team. But I think that he could definitely be a good spot holder for the next few years.
And they're a team that's drafted really well. So
yeah.
for them to to trade away a second round pick. But I also think if Khalil Mack was still Khalil Mack.
Which he can be. I mean, let's not.
No,
there's
the
a
Bears
chance.
wouldn't be trading him.
I think there's still a chance.
There's a chance.
No, he's done.
The Bears are definitely stripping their team, and they're going to start rebuilding soon.
He's done.
I think that I think the Bears are just stripping their team.
Well, wait, are we going to actually act as if the Bears make smart decisions? We're going to say
no.
I'm not going to say they make smart decisions, but I think that their best decision is to strip their team, everybody but Justin Fields and a few assets around him, and then rebuild.
This is the same team.
I wouldn't do that because then you're wasting 3 years of Justin Fields.
They're already wasting 3 years of Justin Fields.
They've already wasted one.
Justin Fields, if they don't rebuild, they're wasting more years of Justin Fields. If they do rebuild, they're going to waste years of Justin Fields. The point is,
just
Justin
draft
Fields,
a receiver up high. Draft what's his name, Olave.
Yeah.
And you're just going to have the Bengals 2.0.
Hey, but
just draft every second or third round former pick in free agency. Just go sign them, just like the Bengals did. Just drop a cool $270 million. No big deal. Just go do it.
Yes, but the Bengals. I mean,
make some moves.
The Bears don't have a Zach Taylor.
The Bears also don't
Zach
have a
Taylor's
Joe Burrow.
Insignificant.
They have Justin Fields, not Joe Burrow.
Yeah, he's better. He's more athletic. Justin Fields made Joe Burrow sit, bro. Do you watch football?
Dwayne Haskins made Joe Burrow sit.
Yeah, even worse.
But, with all these moves, though, we can at least say this.
Tom Brady wasn't even a starter at Michigan.
That's true.
True. He was
Henson.
This upcoming year is going to have some fun games. We get to see Khalil Mack go against his former team in the Raiders. We get to see Wentz go back to Philly and Indianapolis. I mean, I have to go back and see. Does Denver play Seattle? Anybody know?
I don't know. But we're going to get to see Bobby Wagner playing middle linebacker for the Rams.
Yes, that's.
I'm predicting that. I'm calling that right here.
Did you see the Niners want him too?
Right
the whole AFC.
I think the
West
whole
wants him.
yeah. Anybody who needs a middle linebacker wants Bobby Wagner.
Well, the Niners don't need one.
He's not the same Bobby Wagner as he was before because he's getting old.
He's still good.
But he's still good. Yeah, exactly.
If I was a betting man and seeing that report, I bet you the team that signs him is going to be the Cardinals, because the Cardinals are going to give him $15 million, something stupid. Because the rumors are he's going to get 5, 6, 7 mil, and so the Cardinals are going to just come out here wild and just blow him out of the water.
Them or the Broncos, to be honest with you.
I'll tell you.
I could see the Broncos snatching him up.
Well, you know what team should actually be the most aggressive to get him, though? I think there's a team in the NFC East that should be dominant to go get him, and that's the Philadelphia Eagles. They need a middle linebacker.
No,
they need a lot
Eagles
more.
Don't need
they need a lot more than just a middle linebacker.
I've been seeing some mock drafts for the Eagles that I really love. And
listen, man, the Eagles need a better offensive line now because sure they got Jason Kelce back, but they lost Brandon Brooks. They're just losing their offensive. Jason Peters is old. They need an offensive line now, and of course they need a quarterback. But they're probably going to push that off because he was the number one running back in the league. So
yeah, but here's what I think. Actually, Watson, I think, is going to be an Eagle. That's I have a weird feeling he's going to be an Eagle.
I could say it, and I've always thought it, but I also think he's going to go to Pittsburgh.
Tomlin doesn't want him.
He ain't going anywhere until we know what's going on with him.
Also, did you guys see the report on Ridley today?
That they were close to trading him, but
then the suspension.
Just kicked out.
I'd still trade for him.
And I think, honestly, I mean, we can talk
Can't trade while he's suspended.
Talk this more in a future episode. But I think, I guess the Eagles did try to get Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard one that he didn't want to go there, and I've heard also that the Seahawks didn't want to trade him there. I'm not sure if
there was three things that happened. The first thing was Wilson didn't want to go to Philly. Second thing was
also the Commanders were offering, I think, 3 firsts.
Way more. Commanders were giving way more,
but they didn't want to trade.
Yep,
him.
They didn't want to trade. They don't want to trade him in conference. And the third thing was, even if they were close, one of their requirements was they wanted Dallas Goedert, and because Roseman drafted Goddard, he wasn't willing to really.
He's not going to give Goddard because Goddard's
That's laughable.
What they're
if
building,
that's
they're
true.
building Goddard to be a star tight end, exactly what they wanted Zach Ertz
Roseman-
to be before he turned into
Yep.
a crybaby.
But that's laughable. If that's what you're
Crybaby.
doing.
Did you just call Zach Ertz a crybaby?
I called Zach Ertz a crybaby. I think Zach Ertz is a great tight end, and I think he was very respectable. And as a Philly fan, I really respected what he did in Philly. But I'm still going to call him a crybaby because the last 2 years that he was there, he just cried about not having an offensive around him.
No, he was crying about not having a contract. He wanted to be paid respectably.
Yeah. And not having a quarterback throwing the ball.
It's both years because Carson Wentz was horrible in 2020, and Hurts couldn't hit a guy. Hurts couldn't hit that camera right there.
Yeah.
I put money that he could.
Are you sure about that? 'Cause
we gotta do a video on what the Eagles should do with those picks.
We got to do a video on just ranking
quarterbacks.
quarterbacks,
Yeah, we
teams.
gotta
You got to
do
just
that too.
rank a bunch of stuff because,
Yeah.
like, with the upcoming season, we got to figure it out.
If you
Comment
put
below which video you want us to make first.
also
Doesn't matter. It's probably going to get uploaded.
put in the
months from now.
comments who's better, Carson Wentz or Jalen Hurts my eyes to watch. Anyway, please subscribe and please like this video, and thank you for watching this episode. Until next time.
To be continued.